Thank you, Mo. Thank you for your concern. I'm really torn up about this right now.
To replay your message, press 1. To continue recording, press 2. To delete and re-record your message, press 3. For delivery options, press 4. To send a fax, press 6. To cancel this message, press star. To send this message now, press pound or hang up. Your message has been sent. Thank you for using T-Mobile voicemail. Goodbye.
So I don't know what to name these videos. You know, TCI leasing and rentals and all of that. Most people would say, forget about going with Penske because they let me use a post-dated check based on the strength based on the strength of Apex. They see. I want to show you something else about the paradigm of truck driving work. I'm going to show you something else, another reality. See, if you have your own unit, either by ownership or by leasing or rental, you know, a unit that you're responsible for, is another company. In addition to what you just saw me, this job I can't do. You know why? I'm going to tell you the truth. You see, I have been out of the U.S. so long. Yeah, I've been out of America, trying to stay out of the U.S., thinking that Singapore, because Singapore, secularly wise, monetarily wise, if I was allowed e-commerce, Singapore would have been the place for me. Yeah, Singapore would have been the place for me. But what happened, I didn't know that there was a latent racism against blacks, in the Chinese that run Singapore, and in a quarter of the Malays, particularly the Malays that are mixed with European, the sort of M-U-T-T, mutt type Malays, you know, that are really mixed with European and other stuff like that, and are used to spreading their legs, you know, to the Caucasian. 7 GCC 517, 7 GCC 517, or GGC 517. Those are law enforcement type cars. They have a strong aversion towards blacks, or blacks being in the society. There was one Chinese Singaporean that used to have a blog about race cars, Ferraris and all that. Very racist. He said, "We're glad we don't have the nigger problem." That's what he said. Yeah, that company there, I applied for them when I was staying with the Monrovia Masjid. Imam Nuruddin Najmuddin, he's another one that knows a lot. I had applied to Robinsons to do work like they're doing. Never got back to me. No email, no call, no nothing. So this company is hiring local owned operators. Local work, that means if you want to stay in a 100-mile radius. Line work, that means you want to go from here to Sacramento, here to San Francisco, whatever. Day work and night work. So I would want to do local work and I would want to do night work. Night work meaning like graveyard shift. There's plenty of it. This one across the street is hiring Class A drivers as employees, but they may do long distance out of state. If you're designated a threat target by rednecks, and you happen to be black and you don't even know why, and you have no legal counsel and you cannot afford it, you're subject to the NDAA provisions. See, none of the attorneys, Bruce Arfon, Chris Hedges, which is not an attorney, he's an author, and the other ones that filed against the NDAA, nobody will respond to me. And Bruce Arfon and the other, they are both in New Jersey. None of them will respond to me. None of them will respond. Particularly if I was using a telephone number, of which was attached to my identity, which the one I was using at that time was 415 area code 715-8051, which is the AT&T number. That number is now defunct. It's because I ran out of money. See, this was a day cab I was trying to get. I was approved to buy a day cab like that, but it was a single axle. In Arizona, again, I only needed $5,000 to get the whole deal started. $700 something to deliver it from Arizona to here. Muslim community wouldn't help me. Alhamdulillah, that deal was a haram. That was a haram deal because it has riba, even though there was no interest started, but they went through the trouble. Maxim Commercial extended itself out to me generously to try to help me. Maxim Commercial, you know, and they said all you got to do is bring the $5,000. You're good. You're approved. And I just saw a girl speed by, a black girl with a white man in the car. Speed by, grinning and laughing. They went down Mulberry. So So these kind of things, I miss out. This is straight up, yeah. And somebody just went by yelling, two white guys in the Range Rover, black Range Rover, yelling and yeah, like gesturing angrily at me as I passed by. Yeah, this is what I went through. This could be cagey, the way that I'm behaving, but I'm trying to highlight something here that we are, in a condition of war. This is a war. We are at war. They are declaring economic and discrete war against Afro males in particular. Yeah, it's a war, man. So I applied for them a couple of times at Robinson's. They would never get back to me. Never. No, they never got back to me. So the condition I have is that I've lived outside the U.S. and tried to stay out. I have no steady track record, no work record, no recent 2 years of experience. Now, as an owner-operator and employer, like Mr. Gale and others, they have the consent and they have the prerogative to reject you or the prerogative to accept you and give you a chance. And Mr. Gale is willing to give me a chance. Yes, to prove myself that I want to do this kind of work. Specifically, this work that you see right here. See this truck coming out? This is exactly the work. And when I had came back down and I was given a ride by Brother Cleante, who was a part of the Rancho Cucamonga community, but he's since moved, I think, to Rialto, if I can remember correctly. Brother Cleante, the first night he picked me up to take me to his house to sleep because of Rancho Cucamonga Mesha, as I told you, Islam, there are efforts discreetly to try to put a white face on Islam, a Caucasian face. They want to remove the Afro-American affiliation with Islam. See, all those Latino brothers, the drivers, they all stick together like a family. So when I had drove with him to his house and there was an Apex trucks in front of us and I had came back from San Francisco by bus, you know what number was on the back of the truck? 415. It had significance to me. 415, the number 415. And I was with Brother Cleante, and he's not into that esoteric and all that stuff. Yeah, the number 415. Right on the truck. See, and it says we're hiring, we're growing. Independent contractors, 2-axle, regional company, California, Arizona, Nevada company drivers, hourly overtime. Dave. Company driver, I cannot do. The reason why, and the trailers are sold by a company called Beal, B-E-A-L-L. They're made by Beal. Meaning if I could buy my trailers, I would make more money. See, they're out of Adelanto. I went to Adelanto to meet Mr. Gale walking. But I took the bus, the transport from San Francisco, and got on the bus, and this bus, and that bus, and this bus, and that bus, and that transit out there, and then went walking from the point in Orlando. There's a certain point it goes to, but it doesn't go any further, and walking out in the desert for about maybe half a mile or 3/4 of a mile to get to that, to meet Mr. Gale. The privilege of talking to Mr. Gale, the CEO and president of the company, to explain my position. And at that time, that was when I needed the $5,000 to get the 2000, I think it was a 2008 or 2008 Volvo, because they still fall into compliance, to ask if the company would front me that, and me being signatory to a puller, to a subhauler contract, if they would front me the $5,000 and then they could take it out of my pay. But they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. They said no, that they couldn't do that. It's because I couldn't get the money from fellow Muslims.